Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon. Police in Montclair, California say someone stole a truck loaded with 50,000 cans of beer.
I'm Frank Isola. My Montclair would never do that. No way. Not the town of Yogi Berra.
What's your Montclair? Well, how many Montclairs we got?
There's a Jersey. There's a California. It was California. We don't have people like that in Montclair. We just have high taxes.
That's like east of L.A. apparently. Maybe somewhere near Riverside, something like that.
That's right. And I'm west of New York.
Welcome to PTI. Yeah, way west. Tony couldn't be bothered, so I'm lucky to be joined by our great friend from the starting lineup on Sirius XM, Mr. Frank Isola.
Yeah. Not drinking.
Yeah, you're slightly east of California as well. Let's start with Chris Sale's gem against the Dodgers last night. Atlanta's ace shut out L.A., mowing down 11, walking none, scattering 5 hits. After the 8th, with 97 pitches already tossed, he marched up to manager Walt Weiss and told him, "This is mine." Then he struck out Alex Call to end it. Braves won, Dodgers nothing. Frank, are you more focused on what Sale did or what the Dodgers, who were swept, did not?
No, it's about Sale, and this is why we love baseball, Mike, because you can get a 1-0 game that's riveting and exciting. You don't have to see 10 runs in a game. A 1-0 game sometimes are some of the best games. And Yamamoto, his first pitch, Drake Baldwin hits it out of the park for a home run. And then Yamamoto and 2 relievers, they shut down the Braves. But this is all about Chris Sale. And, you know, we talk about all the time, Mike, how baseball has changed, where now a starter is going 4 innings, 5 innings, 6 innings. To get a guy to go 9 innings, it's like a lunar eclipse. And you brought up a great point where he looks at Walt Weiss and he says, "This is mine." He comes out for the 9th inning. The crowd erupts. His son goes crazy when his dad comes out. That was a great game, a great pitching performance for Chris Sale, who, by the way, his ERA just a shade over 2. He's been incredible this year.
Frank, by the way, I watched the lunar eclipse in full right here in Southern California last night. Just want to make sure we talk about that. Frank, you hate to think that something's heroic because something can become so rare in sports that you don't get to see it anymore. It's sort of sad. But I watched every pitch of that game last night, just here in Southern California, where the whole thing's vibrating, and the Dodgers and Dodgers Braves, with the Brewers are sharing the 3 best records in the National League. And Sale, man, when he said that to Walt Weiss, that was straight out of Bob Gibson, Steve Carlton, Ferguson Jenkins, Sandy Koufax. It's like, Skip, if you say one word to me, I will punch your lights out. I got this. And no 29-year-old dope in a front office is going to tell you I can't go through the lineup again.
I knew you were going
there. This was real baseball, Frank. I started to cry. I don't care about the Dodgers or the Braves, but Chris Sale, who's going straight to the Hall of Fame, Frank, straight to the Hall of Fame. Winning percentage, strikeouts, everything his career say. He has won when it matters most. He has won, and he may have another chance to do it again. And I just thought to myself, my God, this is great. Yamamoto gives up 1 earned on 4 hits. Are you kidding me? That was real baseball. And I don't even know when we're going to see any more of it. We're going to see any more this week. Can you promise me?
Yeah, hopefully. You just love those kind of games. And you mentioned Chris Sale. Last 7 outings, Mike, 60 strikeouts, 3 walks. And last night was the 28th time in his career he's had 10 or more strikeouts and didn't give up a run. And to put it, which is outstanding, but to put it into perspective, Nolan Ryan, one of your guys, did it 58 times in his career. Back when guys pitched 9 innings, right?
They did. Makes it great. It's amazing. Standing ovation for Chris Sale, man. Just awesome.
He was great. All right, believe it or not, college football season kicks off tomorrow. Among the notable teams in action, North Carolina and head coach Bill Belichick take on TCU in Dublin. 14th-ranked USC hosts San Jose State. UNLV and Memphis square off in a game that could have playoff ramifications. And how about North Dakota State? It's going to play its first FBS game after winning 10 titles in the last 15 years. in the FCS. So, Mike, what intrigues you the most?
I'm sitting out here in Southern California, and USC has been sort of, they have not been USC-like for a while.
No.
And so I got a mild interest in that, Frank. I do. Mild interest in that. I'm going to, take in some of that. But this is about Bill Belichick. This is about Chapel Bill. I'm sorry. I'm one of those people who was obsessed when he took the job, obsessed with it, went south, losing the opener 48-14 last year.
That's right.
Still obsessed with all the offseason stuff, which leaves him with a staff that I don't quite understand. Oh, my goodness. Suppose they're not any good again, Frank. I don't know what to expect. And so I care about Virginia, NC State. Oh, my God, that's something we used to call a conference game in America.
Yeah.
So that's sort of cool for those of us who need to care about the Mid-Atlantic and particularly Virginia. But no, man, this is about Bill Belichick and whether last year is going to be an aberration or whether that is going to be just a sort of long march or spiral downhill for maybe the greatest coach of all time.
Yeah, I'll get to Bill in a second. You're right, though, about USC and Lincoln Riley. A lot of pressure on him. He's a terrific coach, but they haven't made the college football playoff.
I agree.
Yet, right? Then you got Florida State with Mike Norvell, 38-34 over his career, 5-7 last year. Mike, by Labor Day, we might already be hearing about Dion linked to Florida State. That's going to get circulated in the media. But as for Bill Belichick, two things. We mentioned Montclair before. Jaden Craig, the quarterback of TCU from Harvard via Seton Hall Prep, Montclair, New Jersey. I got to give him a little shout out here. But for Belichick, here's what's amazing. Indiana won the national championship last year with older players. Carolina did not do well in the transfer portal, Mike. They have 60 new players. 40 of them are in freshmen. Mike, you've covered college sports for a long time. You don't win with freshmen, especially in football. So for Bill Belichick, this could be a tough year. In that schedule, 11 of the 12 games, Mike, are against Power 4 teams. So it's going to be really difficult for Bill Belichick in year two. And the Sharks are out. They smell blood. Everyone is killing Bill Belichick right now.
I mean, for Belichick to go into a season like this, Frank, is unbelievable. Because even though there were skeptics last year, there was still a lot of people saying, come on, even if he gets off to a slow start, he'll get this thing moving. No, he didn't. And so tomorrow, wow, what to expect? Let's move to, of all things, the National Hockey League, where Jet star goaltender Connor Hellebuck wants out of Winnipeg. The three-time Vezina Trophy winner announced yesterday that he asked for a trade several months ago, despite having 5 years left on a deal he agreed to in 2023. The 33-year-old struggled last season, though he was spectacular for Team USA, helped win the gold medal at the Olympics. Frank, do the Jets owe it to their longtime star to trade him?
All right, I'm going to keep it clean. Heck no, they don't. And I'm going to go back to October of 2023. Here was a quote from Connor Hellebuck. I'm ready to be a Jet for life and bring a cup to this city. But yet at his exit meeting last spring, he said, I don't know if we can get the pieces, and I don't know if the players want to come. So, A, he's questioning the front office, whether or not they can get it done. And he's also talking about the market, city, which, let's face it, for the the North American, it's a small market, right? So he clearly has trouble there. But the idea that making it public, and players do this all the time, Mike, where they want to have a nice, clean divorce, it never works like that. You got 5 years coming to you, and he's been great. But in the playoffs with him between the pipes, they're 24-34. So he hasn't been lights out in the playoffs. This is a bad look for him. And the fans in Winnipeg are going to turn on him real quick, no matter how nicely worded that statement was.
Basically, he's saying, oh, we need better players. Well, then be one of them, dude. Then be better. They gave you the security you wanted, the money you wanted. They rewarded you. You signed the deal. Can you not count from 3 to 8? You don't know what that is? Unbelievable. No, I would call him in. I'd call him in his agent, and I'd say, we love you. We signed you to this deal. You want to trade? Go to hell. We're not trading you unless The thing I would do now is if I was old and crotchety and was, felt like get off my lawn, I would trade him to whatever outpost I could. I would trade him to, if it could be relegated, I would do that. That's about the only thing I would do for Hellebuck. The nerve.
Mike.
You signed this deal that gave you everything you wanted, and now you want out because you're not good enough? Please.
And Mike, think about it. If he played in the NBA and you did that, if you were in Major League Baseball and you did that, this is a case of him being lucky that he plays in a small market.
Yeah.
Or else he'd be getting destroyed by more than just me and you.
How about if he was in Philly? How about that? How would that go? Let's take a break.
Not well.
But coming up, the Astros edge ahead in the American League West. What's the word for that?
And how best to describe George Lombard Jr. committing 6 errors in 6 straight games. Ay.
You mean Phil Rizzuto? Oh, you mean Derek Jeter? Time to play some word games with Frank. What's first?
The Astros are a blank pick to win the AL West.
Frank, the Astros are 500 right now. 67 and 67. Are you kidding me? Nobody's won a division in Major League Baseball being under 500, which seems like a distinct possibility right now with the Astros and the Rangers. And all of a sudden, oh my goodness, the Royals are hot, as bad as they've been up until recently. It's just, I find it depressing. I want this team to be relegated, the whole division just be relegated and give a spot to the National League. Why do we need another American League team? The American League has been dreadful. The whole league has been dreadful all season, but particularly this division. I don't want to see any of them in the postseason. And I know Yordan Alvarez is very much worth watching. That division, that team may yield the MVP in the American League. But, dude, I don't want to see it. I'd rather see one of those additional National League teams from that group of teams that's really good, like Arizona and San Diego and Cubbies, Phillies, Milwaukee, Atlanta, Dodgers, all those teams. Give us one more of those.
Yeah, but my word is going to be shaky, even though the Astros did win 2 out of 3 up in the Bronx against the Yankees. But here's the thing about the Mariners, and they've had a wacky season. Mike, they're 8-5 over their last 13, so they're maybe starting to turn things around. But in those 5 losses, they lost 22-0 to the Brewers and 19-2 to the Chicago Cubs. Yet, despite the poor season they've had, they're only 3 out. And here's something to remember, Mike. They have the easiest schedule the rest of the way. They got 17 games against the A's, the Angels, and the Rockies. So all season long, you've been waiting for the Mariners, who were this close last year, to reach in the World Series. I still have a little bit of faith in them. Their pitching isn't bad, and Cal Raleigh had 3 home runs on Monday. So maybe things are turning around.
Dumper's starting to hit. That may be the salvation for them, but man, the Mariners, how long are we going to wait on any of those teams? What's next?
It's blank that George Lombard Jr. has committed an error in 6 straight games.
Frank, it's evening. I should say it's evening out, but it's evening because the praise for this kid was, oh my God. I mean, you would have thought he was Lou Gehrig. I mean, I'm just watching some Yankees games here and there, and look, I realize he's got a lot of talent, but to suggest, look, it's funny checking this with AI, and I don't mean Allen Iverson. Sadly, I'd rather check too and talk with Allen Iverson. 22 people have played shortstop since Jeter, number 2, Jeter. And this kid's one of them. And you hear all the praise, every stop along the way, every city, every opposing team's broadcaster, the Yankees broadcaster. He's made from different stuff. He doesn't flinch when the lights get bright. What? Nobody's made an error in 7 straight. What are you people talking about? Just slow down. I realize he's very talented, but saying that he's the greatest thing since Jeter didn't do him any favors. It's all evening out.
I'm going to pay homage to you. I'm going to use a Northwestern $3 word, ignominious. Because right now, Mark Lewis back in 1992 with Cleveland had 7 straight errors. The last Yankee to do this was Chick Fuster in 1921. Mike,
Who?
Chick Fuster is not in Monument Park at Yankee Stadium. But guess what? The fans are ready to put George Lombard in there.
Before Garrett.
Because, exactly. On his debut, he hit a home run. But here's the thing with the errors. Anthony Volpe, who had, I understand he had 19 errors last year. Then he had the shoulder surgery. He showed up. He had 4 errors in 56 games. He was sent down for Lombard. So now the Yankees are in a position where it's a 21-year-old. You don't want to mess with his confidence. He's 5 for his last 28. He's going to stay there, but he's got to start making plays, especially with the Red Sox in town for 4 games.
Wow. The Yankees look, sort of
vulnerable
stupid on this one.
That's another word.
That's the final word. I'm talking about sending Volpe down. Let's take one last break, but still to come. Tristan Peters of the White Sox tries to homer for a 6th straight game.
And could NFL players join Lane Kiffin at LSU after all? This story's not ending anytime soon.
No. Time to get happy, people. Happy 80th birthday tomorrow, Bob Beamon. History lesson, kiddies. Bob Beamon won the gold in the long jump at the 1968 Summer Olympics in Mexico City by flying 29 feet, 2.5 inches, which shattered the then world record by more than 21 inches and inspired the adjective for transcendent, Beamon-esque, another verb. He Beamoned it. While Beamon's mark was later topped by Mike Powell, it's still the Olympic record by nearly 60 years later, Frank. Beamon is a member of the United States Olympic and Paralympic Hall of Fames, has earned a master's degree in psychology, and has been nominated for a Grammy as a percussionist for the group The Bone Squad. Nobody like Bob Beamon, nobody.
The classic underachiever. What a life he had. They estimated that the Mexico City altitude may have added a foot to his jump. If you take away that foot, he still broke the record by 9 inches. How amazing is that?
Incredible. How about that? Unbelievable. Just thrilled to mention Bob Beamon on this show. Happy anniversary, Troy Edwards. On this day 28 years ago, the then Louisiana Tech wide receiver set a Beamon-esque record of his own against Nebraska, catching 21 passes for a record 405 yards and 3 touchdowns. The 405 still stands as college football's single-game mark. After multiple huge seasons at Tech, Edwards was drafted 13th overall by the Steelers in 1999, but never really established himself at the NFL level the way he had in college. He eventually lost playing time to a guy you might have heard of, Hines Ward.
Yeah. The 405 is right over your shoulder, by the way, Mike. That season, Edwards, 140 catches, 27 touchdowns, and he was 4 yards short of 2,000. How is that for a season for a wide receiver?
Crazy.
Unbelievable.
Crazy. Might have just worn himself out that season alone. Amazing. Happy trails to the SEC's ban on players returning from the NFL. 2 separate judges, one in Dallas and, of course, one in Louisiana, have blocked the NCAA, the SEC, and SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey himself from preventing eligible athletes from returning to school from the pros. As we discussed yesterday, the SEC, along with the other Power 4 conferences, frantically created rules this week to stop schools from signing pros who want back in. These players are attempting to take advantage of a recently awarded 5th year of eligibility